Once again, good afternoon to everyone. Today I am going to discuss to you the instructional planning experience of the uni teachers. Number 2, instructional planning in special education. And number 3, the teacher lesson plan to special education students. This is the continuation of chapter 1. Instructional planning is very important, especially for the beginner teachers. Instructional planning includes not only planning what the student will learn, but how they will learn it. According to Lee Shalman, despite the best efforts of teacher preparation programs, learning to teach is often guided by craft knowledge and policy constraints, as it by a sound knowledge based in the practice of teaching. It has been theorized that teachers derive their knowledge about teaching from four sources. By the way, Lee Shalman is an American educational psychologist. He has made notable contributions to the study of teaching, assessment of teaching in the fields of medicine and science and mathematics. These are the four sources of knowledge about teaching. Okay, the first one is content knowledge. The term content knowledge refers to the body of knowledge and information that teachers teach and that students are expected to learn in a given subject or content area. Second one is knowledge of the materials and setting of the institutions. These are the materials resources which include tools for teaching that will use to facilitate teaching learning classes. And the third one, knowledge of the school and the nature and purposes of schooling. The purpose of schooling is to provide the fullest possible development skill of each teachers, especially the beginning teachers. It also gives skills and education needed in his and her profession. And the fourth one is that the wisdom or knowledge of practice itself. Teachers keep their own journals and reflection. It allows teachers to adjust and respond to issues. It also helps to become aware of their underlying beliefs and learning teaching. It also helps teachers to promote a positive learning environment. We have also instructional planning in special education. What is special education? Special education, also known as special needs education, aided education, exceptional education, special ed or SPED. And who are special people? Special people are those who need special education and related services. They include a child who has an intellectual disability, a child who has a hearing impairment including deafness, a speech or language impairment, a visual impairment including blindness, a serious emotional disturbance, and a child who has an orthopedic impairment. And special education is the practice of educating students in a way that addresses their individual differences and special needs. Is the form of education plan for the student with special needs in a way that addresses the student's individual differences and needs. Is a form of learning provided to the student with exceptional needs such as students with learning disabilities and mental abnormalities. There is also purpose of this special education. The purpose of special education is to provide equal access to education for the children ages 3 to 21 by providing special services that will lead to school success in the general curriculum. The aim is to ensure the students with disability are provided with the environment that allow them to be educated effectively. It also provides appropriate educational progress and related services to each child with a disability requiring special education from age 3 through 21 years. Here is the adopted model of teacher taught in action of instructional planning by Clark and Peterson in 1986. As indicated in this model, what teachers think and believe and what teachers do interact in a directional relationship mean that the flow of data is mutual between the related forms. We have also teacher lesson plans for special education students. Before we go on, may I ask some questions for you. Is lesson plans still important? Yes, lesson plan is important throughout the service of a teacher. Every class or generation offer different experience to the teacher. It also important for a newly trained teacher who could be faced with varied, unpredictable situations. And what is a lesson plan? A lesson plan is a guide which helps execute a mission that is to be accomplished in the classroom with the children. Teacher lesson plans help educators enter a class prepared with objectives and strategies for their goals. However, special education requires a lot of extra effort when they go awry, helping students struggling to comprehend material and working hard to achieve the main objective. For educators, keeping a classroom organized and structured can be difficult for special education teachers. It can be sometimes seem impossible. There are many websites offer teacher lesson plans for special education teachers that will develop their teaching style and help to understand their student capabilities and craft realistic goals. They can create their own lesson plans that fit the class specific needs, and they can use the internet to help them started on preparing the right lesson plan for the special education students. Creating special education plan. Special education lesson plan requires a bit more crafting. A special education plans will be catered to specific class style and level of development. So, so each teacher must do some added work around their student activities and lesson plan can be incorporate different approaches and specific students. Also, in creating lesson plan for special needs require flexibility in many cases. Unique activities for each child depending on their situation. In creating a special education lesson plan requires bit more crafting and lesson plans will be catered to a specific class style and level of development. So, in creating a lesson plan for STED requires flexibility in many cases, unique activities for each child depending on their situation. And each teachers must do some added work around their student abilities and lesson plan can incorporate different approaches for specific students. Learning from experience, special education teachers learn a great deal from their experience in handling each class. So they might use some of their past experience in dealing with similar students and have new ways of handling difficult situations. In creating lesson plan for special education, where the lesson plans end. Lesson plans are a crucial part of any teacher's approach to the classroom. A great lesson plan can help special education teachers maintain better control of their classroom with clearer objectives, and purposeful assignments. Teachers can make adjustments and evolve their lesson plans to accommodate their students' needs. Because there is a time that the lesson plan may work well with one class, but the next year it will bring about a completely different result. So, teachers must not get discouraged and instead use their own experience and the lesson plans of other educators to keep changing their work or preparing for each new class. We have also online teacher lesson plans for special education. The technology has embedded itself into many aspects of education. Teachers can find lesson plans online to help them get a jump start on their course or compare how others are approaching the curriculum. There are many websites showcase free lesson plan and some include categories for special education. We have Teacher Planet, Teacher.net, and Teachnology. Those are the popular websites for finding free teacher lesson plan in special education. We have also the importance of top quality. Every teacher knows that the quality of lesson plan is determined by how well it can be followed during course. So as a new teacher, you must be committed to spending the necessary time and belief in the work. When do we say that the lesson planning is effective in terms of delivery techniques and classroom management? Here are the important points to make the lesson planning effectively. Number one, good lesson planning is essential to the process of teaching and learning. A teacher who is prepared well and is on her way to a successful instructional experience, and it is important to realize that the best planned lesson is worth less. If interesting delivery procedure along with good classroom management techniques are not evident. So, a teacher should have a lesson plan. It is a roadmap of what students need to learn and how it will be done effectively during the class time. Here are the suggested practices to make lesson planning is effectively. Number one, establish a positive classroom environment. Number two, begin lessons by giving clear instructions. Maintain student attention. Use appropriate pacing. Provide suitable seatwork. Evaluate what has taken place in your lesson. Create a smooth transition into next subject. Develop positive teacher and student relationship. So the teacher should be skillful in dealing with students of special needs. She or he should have the insight to determine differences among the needs of different individuals. Should be knowledgeable, tactful, required to tackle the situation case-to-case basis. Should, should be flexible and friendly personality. Relaxed and friendly attitude of the teacher is significant, particularly in dealing with the student of special needs. Should have a sense of humor. Having a sense of humor creates attraction and charm in the personality of the teacher.